Welcome to Bharadwaj Gurukul. Today we are going to begin one of the most important and basic chapters in biology, the structural and functional unit of life. If you are new to this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends so that they can also master biology. So, have you ever wondered what makes up you and every living thing? Let's dive into the world of the cells, where we will learn about animal cell and plant cell in detail. So in this video, we will cover the structure of cell, we will learn what is plasma membrane, what is cytoplasm, nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum and its two types, smooth and rough, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, ribosomes, centrosomes, vacuoles, cell wall and chloroplast. So let's start.
Chapter Cell, the structural and functional unit of life. Cell theory. So the cell theory was given by two scientists, Claydon and Swan. Claydon was a botanist and Swan was a zoologist. So now let's study what was actually the cell theory. So first point, cell is the structural unit of life. Cell is the functional unit of life. Cells arise from pre-existing cells. Together these points are called as cell theory. Now, types of cell. Unicellular organisms means the organisms which have only one cell. Example, amoeba. Amoeba is an acellular structure. The cytoplasm of amoeba contains ectoplasm, which is jelly-like and it has more consistency, and it also contains endoplasm, which is solution-like, which has less consistency. So now amoeba itself is a cell, therefore it can be called as an acellular structure or a single celled organism. Therefore amoeba itself is a cell. So it cannot be called as a unicellular organism because unicellular organisms are those organisms which contain one cell. But amoeba is an insect which contains which itself is a cell. Multicellular organisms. So now here is a diagram of the structure of amoeba. You can see its cytoplasm contains ectoplasm and endoplasm. It has a nucleus. It also has a cell membrane. It has a food vacuole, contractile vacuole, and it also has pseudopodia with the help of which it moves. It can be thought of as legs of amoeba, which helps it to move. So now as we were talking about multicellular animals, so these are the animals or organisms which contain many cells, means more than one. Example, plants. Now, nerve cell. Nerve cell is the longest cell. The node of Ranvier helps to pass impulses without wasting time. So these are basically the parts of the nerve cell like node of Ranvier, neurotransmitter and many more, which we will learn in the upcoming chapters. The neurotransmitter helps to jump impulses from axon of one neuron to dendrites of another neuron through a synapse. Synapse is a small gap between two neurons from where the impulses jump from one neuron to another. So let's first have a look at the diagram of a nerve cell and then we'll move to the largest and the smallest cells in the world. So a nerve cell contains two parts. First is the cyton. The cyton contains dendrites, nucleus and Nissl granules. The axon, which is the second part of the whole neuron, contains myelin sheath, neurolemma, node of Ranvier, and this also contains nucleus. The third part contains the axon endings from where the impulses jump during transmission. So now germinal disc is the largest cell found in an ostrich egg, and certain bacteria or even RBCs are the smallest cells which are found in the human body. Epidermis, the outer layer protecting cell and its parts, is called epidermis. It is generally found in the leaves. Hypodermis, the inner layer protecting cell and its parts, is called hypodermis. It lies just below the epidermis. In plants, hypodermis is found beneath the epidermis of the leaves. So the first layer is epidermis and under it we have the hypodermis. Now hypodermis can be of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma or sclerenchyma. Parenchyma is generally found in simple root or stem, and the cell wall here is made up of cellulose. In the collenchyma, it is found in stem and the cell wall is made up of hemicellulose, which means it is made up of cellulose and pectin. Sclerenchyma, it is found in the monocot stem. It is made up of lignin. Now node. The point on the stem from where leaves arise is called a node. So whatever things are there on the stem from where new leaves arise, that point is called as a node. Internode. Internode is the point between two successive nodes. So we can see two leaves in any plant, and the point between any two leaves or nodes, that point is called as internode. Cell membrane. Cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane. It is made up of lipids and proteins. It is selectively permeable, meaning it allows only certain substances to pass through it. It does not allow salts or any other waste material to pass through it. It is a living structure, means it is living in nature. Cell wall. Cell wall is a non-living depositional structure around the cell membrane. It is permeable. It provides rigidity to the plant cells. So the cell wall is found only in plant cell. It is absent in animal cells, and this is a non-living structure which is present around the cell membrane only in plant cells. Cytoplasm. It is the fluid part which lies between the nucleus and the cell membrane. It is a site for various metabolic activities like respiration and digestion. So cytoplasm is the fluid part which contains all the other secondary parts like mitochondria or Golgi apparatus or many other things. Nucleus. Nucleus is the centrally located structure of the cell. It has certain openings. It is made up of lipids and proteins. It has a dark color spherical structure called nucleolus found floating in the nucleoplasm. So nucleus is a structure which is also bound by a membrane. That membrane is called as nuclear membrane. It has certain pores through which certain substances move in and out. It also contains nucleoplasm, which is like the cytoplasm which is found in cells, and it also has a dark color spherical structure which is called the nucleolus. So let's have a look at the diagram of how nucleus looks like. So this is the structure of a nucleus. It contains the nuclear membrane. It has a nucleoplasm, then the nucleolus. Nuclear pores are there from which certain substances move in and out of the nuclear membrane. It has chromatin fibers. We all know that the nucleus is contains the genetic material which is to be transferred from parents to the offsprings. And this is the structure of a neuron which is seen under high power magnification. So chromatin fibers are the thread-like structures found floating in the nucleoplasm as seen under light microscope. Chromatin fibers are the genetic material to be transported from parents to the offsprings. Nucleopore. So nucleopore is also a part of the nucleus as we saw. These are the openings of the nuclear membrane through which certain substances can move in and out of the nucleus. The genetic material are called chromatin fibers when the cell is at rest. So when the cell is not initiating cell division, when it is not undergoing through the process of cell division, then the cell contains the genetic material stored in the form of chromatin fibers. But when the cell division starts, the chromatin fibers turn into chromosomes after condensation. So when the initiation is done of the cell division and it starts, then the condensation takes place of chromatin fibers and they turn into chromosomes. Organelles. The structures floating inside the cytoplasm are called organelles. They are membrane bound and living in nature. Like I told you, there are certain things that are like certain parts of the plant or animal cell which are floating inside the cytoplasm, like Golgi apparatus, chloroplast, chromosome, or like chromosome is in the nucleus, but Golgi apparatus or chloroplast or many things. Mitochondria. Now cell inclusions. Cell inclusions are the structures or particles present in the cytoplasm but not living. So these are basically the granule molecules or particles which are also floating in the cytoplasm but they are non-living. So the cytoplasm contains cell organelles and cell inclusions. Cell organelles are membrane-bound, microscopic structures living in nature. These are all the keywords which you have to mention in your answer. They are living in nature. These perform metabolic activities of the cell. Their function is to perform the metabolic activities of the cell. Cell inclusions are non-living. Minute granules, may be of starch, pigment, or particles, do not perform metabolic activities. They do not do anything in the cell. Metabolic activities. The harmful or useful activities performed in the cell are called metabolic activities. So there can be two types of metabolic activities: anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic is the synthesis of complex substances from the simple substances, like photosynthesis takes place. So the food and light light and water is broken down into. So photosynthesis, which takes place in plants, and assimilation, which takes place in animals, are the examples of anabolic activities. Catabolic, when complex substances are broken down into simple forms. So these two are basically the opposite of each other. They take place in the cytoplasm, example digestion and secretion. Now centrosome with centriole. Centrosome with centriole is present only in animal cell and it is absent in plant cell. It is the distinctive feature of animal cell and floats in the cytoplasm near the nucleus. It initiates cell division in animal cell. Now plastids. Plastids are now the distinctive feature of plant cell. They are present only in plant cell. They are not present in animal cell. So plastids are the characteristic of plant cell. They are present in plant cell. They float in the cytoplasm near the boundary, like where the cell membrane is present, it floats near them. Floats near that. Types of plastid. Chloroplasts. They are green in color. They trap solar energy with green color pigment called chlorophyll to help in photosynthesis. So chloroplasts basically help in the process of photosynthesis, which is very important for a plant. Second type, leucoplasts. They are colorless plastids and have stored food in them as starch. Leucoplasts may or may not be present in the meristematic tissues to provide energy for the cell division. So they are basically the plastids which store food in the form of starch after the photosynthesis is performed and the food is made. Third type are the chromoplasts. They are the colored plastids to impart attractive colors to flowers, fruits, etc., attracting insects, birds for pollination and dispersal of seeds. Different types of colored pigments are there. So as we see, the petals of a flower are very colorful. They might be red or yellow. So these are the work of the chloroplasts, chromoplasts, which are the colored plastids, and they help in pollination and dispersion of seed. Types of pigment. Xanthophyll, it is a yellow colored pigment. Carotene, it is an orange red pigment like which is found in the chromoplasts. So it helps in the attracting different types of animals, insects, birds for pollination and dispersal of fruits and seeds. Now mitochondria, which is an important part of the cell, may it be animal cell or plant cell. It is generally called the powerhouse of the cell as it provides energy. It is the cell organelle studied in detail under electron microphotograph. It is somewhat sausage-like in appearance, so it looks like a sausage. It is a double membranous and living bound structure. This is a structure which has its own membrane like nucleus has, and the whole cell also has its own membrane. So it has a double membrane. The inner membrane is folded in the form of finger-like structure called cristae. They are covered by spherical bodies. It has its DNA molecule in it, which is responsible for its reappearance and its division. So mitochondria is one of the organelles which has its own DNA. During the cell division, it replicates itself or divides, so it does not need help of anything or like cell division or chromosome or anything chromatin. It is self-sufficient as it has its own DNA molecules. So now let's see the functions of mitochondria. They are responsible for cellular aerobic respiration. It is also responsible for release and storage of energy as ATP molecules. Respiratory enzymes are also made by it. So as it is the point of release and storage of energy as ATP molecules, it is called the powerhouse of the cell, as ATP molecules are the one which provide energy for doing any task like respiration or even photosynthesis. Now endoplasmic reticulum. They are double membrane tubule-like structure that run throughout the cell inside. Some of them are found floating freely in the cytoplasm. They form communicable enzymes of the cell and withstand the external pressure experienced by the cell. So whatever pressure or any sunlight or anything which is experienced by the cell, they are controlled by the endoplasmic reticulum. So now, types of endoplasmic reticulum. So there are two types, rough and smooth. So first let's see rough. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is distinguished by the presence of ribosome on its outer surface. So there are ribosomes present on the outer surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, and if they are present, then the endoplasmic reticulum is called rough ER. It is responsible for metabolism of proteins and fats. Like it already contains ribosomes, so ribosomes automatically represents proteins and fats. Now, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi apparatus helps in the formation of enzymes or hormones. So, Golgi body is an example of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is just a type of endoplasmic reticulum. It is not a different organelle. It is responsible for intracellular digestion and formation of acrosome of the sperm. So now we will discuss about the nucleus, which is one of the most important part of the cell. The cell without a nucleus appears to be dead because it does not have any chromatin, no cell division. It is just living, and one day it has to die. Exception in animals in RBCs. So we all know that RBCs are the smallest, and because they do not have mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, or they do not have nucleus, this makes them more efficient, but they are just an exception. Exception covering in plants is sieve tube of phloem. So phloem also contains sieve tubes. They also do not have nucleus, but they take the help of companion cells. So yeah, its covering is known as nuclear membrane. It is found perforated by nuclear pores, which are to provide passage only to certain substances. It forms a boundary around the fluid called nucleoplasm. In the nucleoplasm, genetic material chromatin floats, which turns into chromosome once the cell division starts, and then it converts into chromatid once the cell division is about to end. Now, functions. What are the functions of the nucleus? It controls the functioning of the cell, including cell division. It helps in transfer of genetic material from parents to the offspring. Now let's talk about nucleolus, which is present inside the nucleus and is a dark spherical body. It is found floating in the nucleoplasm of the nucleus. It is in the form of dark colored spherical body. It helps in the synthesis of proteins and RNA. RNA means ribose nucleic acid. Now let's talk about chromatin, which is the genetic material. So chromatin is a fine thread-like structure that floats in the nucleoplasm of the nucleus. It is the genetic material of the cell. So chromatin are the materials which are to be transferred from parents to the offsprings. It becomes condensed short structure at the time of cell division, known as chromosomes, while dividing the arm of the chromosome splits into two vertically, known as chromatids. So this called the first it is called the chromatin, and then it becomes condensed and form the chromosomes, and then it splits vertically to form two chromatids. This is all the part of cell division, and this conversion takes place only when cell division takes place. Ribosomes. These are the fine granules found attached to the outer surface of membranes of rough endoplasmic reticulum. They are also found floating in the cytoplasm in the form of groups. They help in the synthesis of RNA. So we just studied that rough ER contains ribosomes on its surface, and that's why it is distinguished from the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. But the ribosomes also float in the cytoplasm in the form of groups. Lysosomes. Lysosomes are empty spaces floating in the cytoplasm of an animal cell. These are only found in animal cells. They are filled with hydrolyzing enzymes. These are special type of enzymes. So lysosomes digest any particle that enters into the cell, or when the cell becomes dead or non-functional, the lysosomes digest the cell itself. They are responsible for intracellular digestion. Their function is only digestion, so they help in intracellular digestion. It is called suicide bag. They are also called as suicide bags because when the cell gets damaged or burst, they digest the cell itself. Now, Golgi apparatus. It is also known as dictyosomes in the plant. So Golgi apparatus is called dictyosome, but only in plants. They are made up of flattened sat-like structures which are called as cisternae. The cisternae is placed above one another. They are surrounded by spherical vesicles formed by pinching of the cisternae at the ends. They help in secretion of enzymes or hormones. They are the sperm. They produce the sperm only in male reproductive unit. Vacuoles. They are the clean spaces distinctive in plant cells. So these are again the characteristics of the plant cell, means they are present only in plant cells, not in animal cells. They have fluid filled in them with food stored as simple sugar, carbohydrates or glucose. The membrane around vacuole is known as tonoplast. So this again has a covering of its own, and this covering is known as tonoplast. So the animal cells also contain vacuoles, but they are very small as compared to the distinctive vacuole present in plant cell, which even pushes the nucleus aside. It also stores pigment like anthocyanin, violet blue color, and makes the cell turgid. The contents are referred as cell sap. So whatever things or fluid is contained inside the tonoplast or in the vacuole, they are called as cell sap. Now, granules. They are fine particles that may be of starch or oil droplets. They serve as stored food in plant. In animals, glycogen, and in plants like starch. In fungus and bacteria, they also store oil droplets or fat droplets as food glycogen granules. So now let's study about tonicity. Although it's there in chapter 4, absorption of roots, in very detail, where you only study about roots and tonicity, but here we are given. So let's study. The concentration of the medium to which a cell is immersed is known as its tonicity. It is of 3 types. So the tonicity is basically about the concentration of the cell sap in the cell as per the surrounding medium. Hypotonic, when the concentration of the surrounding medium is lower as compared to the cell sap, it is called as hypotonic. So when the surrounding medium has a lower concentration, then this is called as hypotonic medium, and endoosmosis takes place, means water moves from the surroundings to the inside of the cell. Second, hypertonic, when the concentration of the medium is higher compared to the cell sap, then it is called as hypertonic medium. In this case, exoosmosis takes place. So when the outer surroundings means the cell has a lower concentration as compared to the surrounding, then water moves out of the cell, and this process is called as exoosmosis. Isotonic medium, when concentration of the cell sap is in equilibrium to the medium, thereby no endoosmosis or no exoosmosis takes place, then it is called as isotonic. When both the mediums, that is the cell sap and the surrounding medium, are at the same concentration level, then no osmosis takes place, neither exoosmosis nor endoosmosis. So we say that the solutions are isotonic in nature. So here we come to the end of the chapter.
Thanks for learning with us today. In this video, if this video helped you, like, share and subscribe to Bhardwaj Gurukul for more chapters in simple and visual ways. Keep learning, keep growing.